Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Scarecrow, and today we're talking about World War II. The game's been out for a couple months now, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on it after that time, based on my playtime, my experiences, and my enjoyment of the game. Now, right off the gate, I'm just gonna say that I do enjoy World War II. It's not an outstanding Call of Duty to me. It's not a Call of Duty that will, hook me for years to come. It's not one that I'll probably return to for nostalgia's sake, but it's a good solid shooter, and it's a good solid Call of Duty. Don't get me wrong, it has a lot of flaws and a lot of things that I don't like about it, like any other video game. I'm not a fan of the map design. Ardennes Forest is about the only map that I actually enjoy playing on. The rest of the maps I probably won't remember in a year or two, but I've adapted to them nonetheless. They don't play very well in my opinion. A lot of people will probably disagree with me there, and a lot of people would probably agree with me there. I know the maps have divided the Call of Duty community this year. The first time that I played on a lot of these maps, I could tell that I wasn't going to love them. I could tell that I wasn't going to go, I can't wait to play on this map. I love this map. There's no maps in World War II like that. And I'm not counting on the DLC to save it because I don't think I'm going to buy the DLC. Buying DLC on PC is a huge waste of money. The DLC maps and playlists are populated after the first couple weeks, and then you very rarely get a game on it. And maybe if Sledgehammer Games does take a leaf from Treyarch's book and uses the free DLC gimmick and keeps the player numbers up and stuff like that, then it'd be a different story. But I'm not going to buy them on release. And in my mind, I shouldn't have to buy extra map packs to find a map that I like in World War II. I don't think that's a good sign for it, in my opinion. I would rather have base maps that I really loved rather than, hoping and praying for some good DLC maps. The sniping in the game is ridiculously strong compared to the other weapons, particularly the car. You've heard me complain about it a lot because, in my opinion, it personifies the meaning of an overpowered weapon compared to the balance in the rest of the game. A lot of people will also disagree with that, and a lot of people will agree with that because, again, the sniping has also divided the community this year, particularly the car. I don't really have a problem with the Enfield or Carabin. I think those are pretty well balanced. If you're decent with them, you can do really well. The car, on the other hand, is just bonkers, and anyone can do well with it, regardless of circumstance, situation, skill, playtime, map awareness. That gun is just borderline broken in so many respects, and the people that defend it are the people that use it a lot, which is understandable. Your favorite gun in the game and you do really well with it, you don't want it to get nerfed, of course, but I really think it does need to get nerfed. I really do. I want it brought down to the level of the other sniper rifles so I can enjoy using it again and not getting blasted in the face like a shotgun every single time. The weapon balance in World War II, I think, is in a really good place at the moment. Aside from the car being ridiculously overpowered and the bar being strong, but people need to understand that Call of Duty has always had metas. It's always had weapon metas, it's always had map metas, it's always had really good weapons, it's always had borderline overpowered weapons, and it's always had really crappy weapons. You're never going to find a Call of Duty that doesn't have one gun that's better than everything else. You're not going to find a Call of Duty that has that one gun that is just so crap that you don't feel like using it. There's no Call of Duty that you're going to find that doesn't have that one weapon that you love using and it's just an instant classic for you. That's the thing. Call of Duty always has these flows and these same patterns, and every single year people complain about these patterns. Oh, the bar is so overpowered. If they nerf it, then the next thing you know, it'll be the FG, it'll be the STG. There's always got to be a best weapon, and that, in my mind, is what makes the bar fine. I can die to a bar, and a bar noob, a person that only uses the bar 24/7, doesn't really bother me that much. I understand why they're using it, and if they weren't using that, they'd just be using the STG-44, they'd just be using another weapon that replaces the bar in terms of best weapon. It doesn't matter what weapon is the top, people are always going to use it, and people are always going to abuse it. Perfect weapon balance, I don't think there is such a thing. There is always statistically going to be the best gun, and there's always going to be people that are using it. In that respect, I still think the weapon balance is pretty damn good. The SMGs, I think, are in a good place. I've heard people complain about the sprint out times, and I do see where they're coming from. It can be quite annoying, especially when you're trying to spray down multiple people. I've died in a lot of circumstances where if I could have reacted quick enough, I could have sprayed down 3 or 4 people. But since my guy couldn't get his weapon up in time after sprinting, or after killing 2 people and then turning around to sprint, well, you get the picture. You're dead before you can raise your weapon. I've heard a lot of people complain about this. I personally don't have too much of a problem with it. It just kind of promotes a little bit of smarter play. You can't sprint everywhere, and if you try to sprint everywhere, you'll die a lot. So you kind of have to be expecting enemies around every corner and have your weapon already ready for them, pre-aiming a lot of corners and stuff. It promotes a more tactical, slower form of play, I feel, compared to previous years, which is why a lot of people complain about it. A lot of people complain about the pacing compared to Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare. Well, this isn't those type of games, and I think that the combat reflects that. You can't run around like an absolute maniac. In fact, it took me a long time to adapt to the fact that this is a slower paced game, and if you run around like a chicken with no head, then you're going to die a lot. Basically, this game has been a large case for the Call of Duty community of adapt or fail. And for a lot of people have just given up completely because they don't like reverting to the roots of the franchise, which is kind of funny because Call of Duty World War II has always been about returning to the roots, bringing back the old school feel. And I don't think a lot of people actually realize what that meant. It means slower play, it means funkier weapons, it means maps that aren't quite as well balanced or well designed. It means going back to an age that we've already improved upon. Believe it or not, Call of Duty's overall feel and design has evolved a lot since the days of Cod 1 and 2, even Cod 4. And arguably, I'd say that the feel has gotten better. Yes, you could say that Cod 4 is still a really good Call of Duty and probably one of the best. I don't know. I never played it back in its prime. But at the same time, that game had so many broken things, and the overall flow to it was really who could abuse the systems the most after you've absolutely mastered the game. Even going back to MWR, there were people that were gods at the game because they knew everything about COD 4. And in World War II, it's like, we're going back even further than COD 4. We're going back to even more old school mechanics and stuff like that. And people don't like that. And that's why whatever I think that Treyarch brings out next year will just be welcomed with open arms. People like be, oh yes, it's so nice to be back to this, because Treyarch does satisfying colors, they do satisfying sounds, they do satisfying combat, and it's all fast paced. It's all up in your face. You're never more than a couple seconds from combat. You've got just over the top explosions, over the top score streaks. It's like addictive. It feeds that side of our brain where it's like, oh yeah, I gotta get the adrenaline pumping, I love this. You know, people have had mixed feelings about Black Ops 3. I didn't mind it. I played it for a lot of hours. I played it for a lot more hours than is actually reasonable. And while I say that that game has a lot of flaws, I do get why a lot of people, you know, keep coming back to that game. It is addictive when you have a fun moment in Black Ops 3. Whereas in World War II, if I had to sum up World War II, I'd just say that it's good. It's average. It's not anything more, and it's not anything less. I have some really fun moments in World War II. I think there are some really fun features in World War II. I like some of the weapons in World War II, but at the same time, it's just there's no, you know, grip me by the throat and I want to play this game. I can't stop playing this game. Like, even in past Call of Duties, I would actually say that there was more of a drive to play Infinite Warfare because of the more combat variety and the more, you know, weapons and variants. There was more of an interesting feel to Infinite Warfare. There was more of an interesting feel to even Call of Duty Ghosts. I love Call of Duty Ghosts because of the varied map design, the really fun weapons. Just, that game had so many quirks and things that made it fun. And World War II is just middle of the road. It's average in a lot of ways. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing. You know, sometimes average can be good, especially after, you know, the craziness of previous years. But there's nothing there that grips me. There's nothing there that pulls me down and holds me there and says, just keep playing this game because it's so worth it. I play World War II for a couple of hours a week. I probably play it for about 8 to 10 hours a week now, and that's a bit on the low side. I'm playing other games that I'm enjoying a lot more. For example, Fortnite. I have a lot of single player games that I'm focused on grinding right now. There are just other games out there that hold my interest a lot more than World War II. And again, it's not that the game is boring, it's just that it doesn't grip me. It doesn't hold me to the franchise. So yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Underneath it, it's Call of Duty. It's very much Call of Duty. It's very much old Call of Duty, whether you like it or not. And I'm going to keep posting content on it throughout the entire year. As long as World War II is populated on PC, then of course I'm going to keep playing it. And I still have a lot of fun with it. It's just that there are so many other games out there that are fighting for my time. And to be honest, I have a lot more fun in a lot of other games. I feel like Sledgehammer Games has become the studio for kind of niche Call of Duties. Advanced Warfare was a very niche Call of Duty. You either loved it or you hated it. I don't know, I didn't play it for long enough to really get into the game. I played it for a couple months before the PC player base completely died out. So it was hard to get, you know, a personal attachment to that game. Whereas World War II, I think that after this year, I don't think its player base will be ridiculously high. I think it'll have an average to low player base. And I think 5 years from now, nobody is really going to look back and say, you know what, I miss World War II. I just loved that game. I just loved everything about it. It was so amazing. I look back with so many fond memories on that game. It's not one of those Call of Duties. It's just well, I'll play this game until the next one. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing amazing about it. It'll tide me over until we see what we get next year. So anyway guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know what you guys think about World War II down in the comment section below. I know a lot of you guys have quit the game. I know a lot of you guys are still loving the game. So let me know what your thoughts are. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I shall see you, beautiful people, in the next video.